Hello, everyone, and welcome back to CBJ Sports. I couldn't tell you an episode number because I just don't know. I have a 23 wrote down, but I know it's not right because it's off notes from a few weeks ago. But it's me and CJ this week. Josh had an emergency, and Billy is Billy, so we will roll with the flow. But college football, NFL, I have MLB as it is winding down. Today's the last day to get a wild card spot and two or three NBA questions, mostly focused on Philly for CJ. Lucky he's here today. But we start in college football. Another crazy weekend. Uh, Big wins, big losses. And the first question is best win of the weekend and worst loss of the weekend. And for me, the best win was Cincinnati over Notre Dame. I think that's a playoff win. I told Josh last week, I think if Cincinnati won this game, they're in the playoffs. Uh, and my loss is Oregon to Stanford because that was a lock team maybe to get into the playoffs if they win the Pac-12. And now I do not think the Pac-12 will get a team in. So those are my two.
My basically have the same as yours. Cincinnati beating Notre Dame just proves you that they're a really good football team and they deserve to get in there. And the Oregon one, we've all wanted to see Oregon if they can win that game this year. They did. They beat Ohio State, but then they lost to Stanford. So
And it also makes me like think about like how good Ohio State is because Oregon's offense looked unstoppable against Ohio State, and Stanford put up how many ever points they wanted to against Oregon.
yeah,
So it's like, how good is those defense? I think Cincinnati's for real, though. I think that's a really good team that could make the playoffs. Talking about a team like Cincinnati, someone on the outside looking in that should scare the Alabamas and Georgias of the world. And I have two. I couldn't come down to one. I want to give love. I know Hinkley watches every week, but BYU is a really good football team again. Zach Wilson isn't there, but they have Jaron Hall, who played before Zach Wilson was there and got hurt. So he's got the leadership. They have a really good defense. And the other one's Kentucky. I mean, I can't count them out because they might win the East now. They only have to beat Georgia and they're in the playoffs as long as they don't mess up. So Kentucky really could have an outside shot looking into this because all they got to do is get to play Bama in that championship game, and that's going to give them a spot in the playoffs. Because if you lose to Bama that last week, then you're probably in if that's your only loss on the schedule. But of course, they have to beat Georgia, but that's a team that could scare or maybe even upset Georgia if they can have that run game going.
yeah. I'd go Kentucky on this one. Actually a really good football team. I mean, we were watching that play they made last night while we're at work, and that was just insane. But I think Kentucky could have a shot to beat Georgia. But
Yeah,
nah, go ahead.
I think Kentucky is finally to that point where they have enough veterans, they have the right coach, and they have a quarterback. I think that's always been Kentucky's problem. Terry Wilson was never good enough to beat the Floridas of the world. Now Will Levis is actually that guy that can throw the ball where he has to. He can also run when he has to. I think that's going to give like I think that's going to give problems to a defense with Georgia because they haven't seen that all year with a guy that can do both. So I think it's going to be a
Yeah.
fun game coming down the schedule. Talking about college football coming down the schedule, pick them. I come back last week. I make myself 12-9. CJ's, I mean, I'll start 9-5. Josh is 4-7 after last week. But a lot of big games and games that are coming off losses or teams that are coming off losses that need to bounce back. Ole Miss, Arkansas, both teams that got smacked Saturday get a chance to redeem themselves. I'm going to go Arkansas. They're not going to play Georgia's defense. I think their offense goes back to what they do. I think their defense is good enough to stop Ole Miss. Also, I'm going to go Arkansas. Close, but Arkansas.
I'm going with the lane charts here.
Still riding high on Lane Kiffin.
Yeah, I think Lane Kiffin bounced back after that game. I think he's. I don't. I mean, did you see the interview he had
Yeah,
before the game? It's the
get your
greatest thing
popcorn
ever.
ready.
It's the greatest thing ever. Yeah, I think he's pissed because of that. And
Yeah, he shouldn't have did it.
yeah, I'm gonna take Ole Miss barely though.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a really good game. Another game that could end up being good. Bo Nix showed up last night and won him a big one against LSU last night. they're going to get a chance to keep their playoff hopes alive tomorrow or next Saturday as they play Georgia. Again, I just think Georgia's defense is too good. I think it's a shutout. I don't think Auburn's going to be able to move the football. I'm going to take Georgia big.
Yeah, I'm taking Georgia. I think we see the real Bo Nix here in this game.
Yeah, Bo Nix kind of shocked me last night. He played confident, and that's the most collected I've seen Bo Nix play in a long time. And I think it was in Death Valley at a 9 o'clock game. I mean, that's as much as you can expect from a
Yeah.
guy that's trying to get to his draft stock up. So it should be a fun one. Another one, me and Josh kind of predicted this last week, but Texas, Oklahoma. I think Texas is back. I don't think Oklahoma can win the Big 12 again. I'm going to go Texas close.
Yeah, I'm taking Texas here. I don't feel comfortable picking Oklahoma. Like, yeah, it's just, oh
It's
my
rallied
God.
you don't bet on the number one pick, bro.
I'm going Texas.
Yeah, I mean, it's good. Steve Kerr Sarkisian, a call that I had a couple months ago on the podcast. I can go back and clip it, but I called Steve Sarkisian as the best hire of the offseason, and he's proven me right. Texas is on a roll lately. Uh, Penn State, Iowa, maybe the two quietest teams that we didn't talk about for outside looking in, but these are two teams that could win the Big Ten, and they're only going to have to beat Michigan or Ohio State. Number 4, number 5 on Saturday. Probably going to be the big noon kickoff, so at 12 o'clock. This is you put up or shut up. You win, you're probably in. You lose, your season's probably over. But I'm gonna go Penn State. They always show up in these games. Sean Clifford's a Heisman guy for me. I'm gonna go Penn State close.
Yeah, I'm going Penn State. Um, I think Iowa's been struggling, not big time, but
Yeah, they've been stealing wins.
yeah. And Penn State's got a really good D. I like their quarterback actually. I don't think he's bad. But yeah, like you said, I think Penn State shows up. I think that defense actually shows up in this game big time, and they're gonna steal the win.
Yeah, I've said before, I think Penn State has the best defense in the Big Ten to me. I think that's going to matter down the stretch, and they can knock off a team like Ohio State, maybe steal the Big Ten. Last one, Kentucky gets a chance to keep it rolling. LSU is coming off a loss to Auburn. I'm going to go with Kentucky big. I think their running game is too good. LSU can't score. Kentucky has a really good defense this year. I think Kentucky wins by 2 scores or more.
Yeah, I'm going Kentucky. LSU's offense looks horrible, honestly.
From Joe Burrow
And
to whatever that is.
yeah, Kentucky's just a really rounded football team.
Yeah, I agree. That's going to wrap up college football. I think next Saturday and the weeks to come are going to be huge, especially the Big Ten side of things to see who's going to come out of that conference and to make sure we don't have 4 SEC teams in the playoffs with Kentucky looking like they're heating up. But maybe Cincinnati gets another big win, but we'll see as we move along. The NFL, we've had our Super Bowl predictions before. I was kind of wishing everyone was going to be here this week because my Super Bowl prediction is probably the hottest take I have on this notepad. But Super Bowl updated prediction odds for me in the NFC, it's the same team I had before. I'm going to go Bucks. I think Tom Brady with a second chance to play the Rams. You never want to play Tom Brady twice. So if the Rams have to play him again, I think Tom Brady beats him handily by at least 14. And in the AFC side of things, I have to go with maybe the best defense in football. I'm going to go with the Cleveland Browns. I think that defense is good enough to win the big games. They've already shown they put up 28, I think, in the first half against the Chiefs. Of course, I'm not going to say anything because they do have to beat Buffalo if they see them in the playoffs. I don't know if that could happen, but this is my prediction based off. I think the Bills get knocked out by someone else, like maybe the Chiefs or the Ravens. But I'm going to go Browns if they don't have to play Buffalo in the playoffs.
Um, I got the one I said the other day. I got Bills coming out of the AFC. I think if I had to pick a second one, I'm gonna go with a wild one, and I'm going Raiders.
Yeah, undefeated.
And then in the NFC, I got the Rams. I think that defense is going to get a little bit better throughout. I mean, it's already good, but just figuring out who's their cornerback two and all that, and dealing with injuries and all that. I think I got Bills and Rams in the Super Bowl.
I think that's what scares most people about the Rams is that offense looks like it's clicking on all cylinders with Cooper Kupp, Matthew Stafford, guys like that, and they don't have Cam Akers. Let's make that apparent. The best running back they have is not playing. And also on the defense side of the football, they don't have a hole. Their safeties are good. Like you said, cornerback too. I mean, it's pretty much been Darius Williams when he's healthy, who played just as good as Jalen Ramsey last year. The defensive front is ginormous, and the linebacking core
Yeah.
is fast. So it's like there's no holes on that defense. So I think so also that the Rams are going to be. I think that's the NFC Championship easily, but I just can't bet against Tom Brady in a second matchup. Talking about bad teams, who will get the number one pick? I'm gonna make it quick and simple. I think Urban Meyer doesn't maybe wins the game this year. I know they're close, but the NFL is the NFL. Unless they beat the Texans, but I think Tyrod's gonna be back soon, which I don't think they beat the Texans with Tyrod. I'm gonna go Jags.
I'm going Jets. Jets.
I don't think Zach Wilson gets rolling.
I think Jaguars win more games than the Jets. Like it's not a lot, but it might be one.
Might be
It
2 to
might be
1.
two.
Yeah.
They're gonna win more than the Jets. So not a lot, but one more.
It's kind of sad that we're having the same conversation that we had last year towards the end of the year of who's getting them. I don't want to pick, but I mean it doesn't really change.
Man.
Uh Talking about the draft, looking a little bit farther ahead. College prospect that instantly helps a bad team the most. I think yours is gonna be one, so I have two. I'll let you say the other name more than likely, but I'm gonna go Jordan Davis from Georgia. 400 pounds, runs a like almost a 4.5, 4.6 at the DT position at a 40. Uh, I mean, he's the most athletic defensive tackle to come into college football in a long time. He's going to be a top 10 pick. I think he instantly helps a defensive front. Uh, Kind of like that Dexter Lawrence pick for the Giants a couple years ago. I think he comes in and helps instantly for a bad team.
What was the question again?
College prospect that instantly helps a bad team the most.
Hmm. Yeah, I think you gotta go. Honestly, I really do think you gotta go Jordan Davis. Oh no. No, I'm not
You
saying no,
have
but
one. You have
yeah,
one. I know it.
I'm Kyle Hamilton.
Yeah, that's the name
Yeah,
I had
okay.
written down.
Yeah,
But
I
I have
think
CJ in parentheses.
if I'm the Jags and Kyle Hamilton's there and I don't pick him, just it's wraps. You like if I'm the Jaguars or the Jets or anybody else that don't have that playmaker or that leader on that defensive side of the ball that could really start the rebuild of your defense, so you got to go Kyle Hamilton.
Yeah,
I
this
mean
is
that dude's got the most sideline speed I have ever seen.
I think this is that Jeremy Chin pick. This is that Isaiah Simmons pick. This is that hybrid linebacker safety pick that everyone needs in the NFL.
Yeah.
And you have to, I think you have to upgrade that, even if it's one or two. I know it's a hard pick to take as a safety, and it doesn't happen often, but I don't think Kayvon Thibodeau is that game changer at defensive end. And the only other reason you'd go anywhere else is there's a lot of good offensive linemen that are going to be on the board. There's not a good enough quarterback. Both of them have quarterbacks for the future. So this is definitely a defensive pick. I think if any of those two teams get it, I think Kyle Hamilton's worthy or Jordan Davis to get that number one pick status.
Yeah. I think with Kyle Hamilton, you just you're like, okay, we don't really have to worry about the deep ball, but you still kind of do. But he's too quick. That's too good of a player to be sitting there.
Yeah, I agree. Last question for the pick 'em for the NFL. Who is taking the biggest jump at the wide receiver position? And I'm going to go with a little bit of bias, but Deebo Samuel, when healthy, is the top 5 receiver in NFL football. He is Stephon Diggs-esque run after catch guy. Him, DJ, and Stephon Diggs, I think, are the best run after catch guys in the league. He's just physical in that slot position, and he's leading the NFL in receiving yards. And I think Debo is going to take that step up to being a superstar receiver in the NFL.
Yeah, I'm going with I'm going with Cooper Kupp. I think, like you said, this is his breakthrough year. Like right now, he's leading the league. Right now he's on pace for 2,000 yards if he keeps playing like the way he does. But he got way much better at route running. I mean, that's just gonna be Matthew Stafford's number one all year. I think that's what's gonna help them all year long.
Like it, Cooper and Debo both having big years. As we move on to pick 'em, I kind of saved myself last week with a couple upset picks. I'm 6-4. You were still 2-3. There's a lot of good games on the schedule. I only took a couple, but the first one is Lions Bears. Two bad teams looking to move up in their respective divisions. I'm gonna stick what we talked about yesterday. I'm gonna go Lions. I think Jared Goff's good enough to win this game. Honestly, I'm just not betting on the Bears because of Matt Nagy and they can't move the football. So I'm going to go Lions to put up enough to win.
Yeah, I'm going with Lions in this game. I trust Jared Goff more or Dan Cable more than
Okay, I don't know about Dan
Bears.
Campbell, but Jared Goff, I give you.
He'll at least come with a game plan. If it don't work,
Yeah,
hey, whatever.
that's facts.
Bears, they just don't have one. They'll go out there and just snap the ball. I'm going Lions here.
All right, guys, we're going out here. We're going to snap the ball. We're going to play some football. I don't care what we run. Offensive coordinators on the side, I'm like, what are we doing?
They're drawing the game plan on the football.
Yeah. They're doing what we did at recess. You run a post route and then you run a curl. Justin's like, just don't get me sacks, please.
And they break the huddle. They're like, cover 3.
What was it? Like, what was the route I was supposed to run? The next game is a game that I really don't want to talk about, but I think it's going to be a good one. Panthers, Cowboys, Dak versus Sam Darnold. Last time Sam Darnold saw this Cowboys defense, he put up, 31, 230, and 1 for the Jets. That's their only win last season. But I'm going to go Panthers close. I don't think we're going to beat them handily. Our defense is missing guys like Justin Burris, J.C. Horn. Also on the offensive side of the football, Chris McCaffrey's out. But I think we've lived without McCaffrey in the years before. I think the Panthers win close off of the defense and getting turnovers.
Go Panthers. Woo! I would never pick the Cowboys ever in my life unless they were playing the Chiefs or something. But that's not happening. So I'm picking the Panthers here. I don't think Panthers will have a problem scoring the ball. I don't think that's going to be a problem. It's just going to be that defense with all the injuries.
Yeah, I think the defensive side of football, yes, the Panthers right now, ranking-wise, the number one defense in the NFL, but missing a lot of guys this week. Justin Burris is a huge one for me. I know a lot of people don't know who Justin Burris is, but maybe the best Panthers safety over the top because Jeremy Chinn's been playing down more. It's going to be big against guys like CeeDee Lamb and Amari Cooper. Should be a fun one. Browns-Vikings. Vikings come off a big win last week, and the Browns are my Super Bowl pick. And I'm going to run with them. I think they put up enough points. The Vikings defense is not good. Yes, their offense is really good. Kirk Cousins has looked amazing, but I think this is the best defense they're going to see for a long time. I'm going to go Browns off of pressure for Myles Garrett.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Browns here. I think they dominate. I think they dominate the run game in this game. I think Minnesota's going to score the ball, but I just don't think they're going to be able to. Cleveland's just going to get more defensive stops at the end of the day, and they're going to win.
I was going to say this when I talked about them for my Super Bowl pick is they have 2 number 1 backs. They have Odell Beckham, Jarvis Landry, Anthony Schwartz. Who's their tight end? Austin Hooper, and Njoku. Yeah. But I think the big thing is they have 2 number 1 backs. So like Kareem Hunt went off last week. Okay, I think people forget how good he was. Nick Chubb is a 1,000-yard guy. It's just if Baker can step into that role, and we've seen it of them taking that next step. I really want to see where the Browns go in the next few weeks. But talking about a team that lost the Vikings last week, Cardinals, Rams, 2 of the top teams in the league. I'm going to go Rams. I think Matthew Stafford's too good. I think that defense is going to shut down that college offense from Cliff Kingsbury. I'm going to go Rams, but not big. I'm going to go close.
Yeah, I'm I'm going Rams here. I think Rams have the better offense, and I think they have the better defense here with Aaron Donald chasing Kyler Murray all day.
Yeah, I don't know if he's gonna catch him, but he'll bring him down
Yeah.
eventually. Last one, Broncos Ravens. Broncos undefeated. Ravens trying to get on that roll again. I think the Broncos, if I don't know, fever dream that they're living is finally over. They played 3-4 terrible football teams. I think the Ravens are way better than all the competition they played so far. I'm gonna go Ravens big. I think Lamar shows up at they signed Le'Veon Bell yesterday, I think, pretty sure. But that running back room is back to being really good. I think Marquise Brown catches a couple touchdowns today. I'm gonna go Ravens big.
I'm going Broncos by 3 here. I don't know about the offensive side, but I know that defense is really, really good. But yeah, it's going to be. I mean, they're winning by 3 at max.
Yeah, I think the Broncos defense is good. I'll give you credit for that. It's just I don't know how long Teddy can live this pipe
Yeah,
dream that he's playing, just getting lucky. Melvin Gordon has looked prime Melvin Gordon lately. But if Cortland Sutton and guys like that can step up in the passing game, I think maybe they can steal one. I'm going to go Ravens. Look, moving on to a sport that's not getting love, but should be getting love right now is the MLB. The AL wild card ends today, and it has been the craziest ending to a wild card I've ever witnessed in my entire life as a Red Sox fan. The Red Sox, Yankees, Mariners, and Blue Jays all can get a wild card spot, but there's only 2 spots left. What team out of these 4 can beat the Rays? And I know I'm wanting to be on that, but I got to be honest with myself, and you all deserve me to be honest. I'm going to go Yankees. I think they have the best pitching staff in the wild card. I think they have the best bats in this wild card 4-man, besides the Red Sox. I don't think the Blue Jays, the Mariners, or the Red Sox have a bullpen that can compete with the Rays. I think the Yankees, yes, their bullpen has lost them games this year, but when you throw a guy like Aroldis Chapman out on the mound, it's like hit it or don't. It's like we're going to win or lose dying on this mound with 102 miles per hour. And it's like no one else has that. So I'm going to go Yankees off bats and bullpen.
like you said, I'm going Yankees. We've after All-Star break, we've had the 3rd best bullpen in MLB. Um, when you just, it really just comes down to our lineup that we have just wants to play like the like the New York Yankees. Other than that, like when we play baseball, we're Yankees are scary. But it's just so hard because the Blue Jays is a really good team.
I
But
think, yeah,
like you
Vlad
said,
deserves to be in the playoffs.
yeah. But I think with the Yankees getting Severino back,
Mhm.
um, Loaiza back, that bullpen's looking really, really good.
I agree. I think for me as a Red Sox fan, we have not won the games. If we were going to be in, we should have already been in. We lost 2 of 3 to the Orioles, and now we want to sweep the Nationals for some reason with Chris Sale on the mound today. But the Mariners have played really good lately. They just find ways to win. They're a scrappy baseball team, and the Blue Jays are the Blue Jays have 2 of the best players on the position in baseball, and Marcus Semien and Vlad. But as the next segment is, I don't think either one of them are MVP. AL MVP. Me and Billy got into a big argument a few weeks ago about AL MVP. I could care less. Like Vlad could have the triple crown by a landslide, and Marcus Semien could hit 60 bombs. Shohei Ohtani is the AL MVP, and there's no discussion. He pitches, he hits tanks. I mean, it's got to be Shohei Ohtani for me at least, no doubt.
Yeah, I think it's Shohei Vlad. That's it. Like your sleeper pick would be Marcus, but it's not happening. But
Yeah, I don't think Marcus is the best player.
because Vlad, yeah. But yeah, I mean you got to give it to Shohei. He's had a really good year. You got to.
And this is what we come back to when we say MVPs because they're supposed to be valuable. But it's like
Yeah,
Mike Trout could win MVP every year if he was healthy. Jacob DeGrom could have won NL MVP if he stayed healthy. Uh, Shohei and Mike Trout are both on a really bad baseball team, pitching wise. Uh, if the Angels could step it up, I think this would have been a no question a couple of weeks ago. But because the Angels are so bad, I think that's why this race is so close. But I'm gonna go Shohei off of my knowledge that he throws a baseball 100 miles per hour. uh, Biggest shocker this year in baseball. I'm gonna go Cincinnati. I think the Reds shocked baseball. Two MVP guys for me, Nick Castellanos and Jesse Winker for half a season. Their pitching looked better. Wade Miley looked good. Luis Castillo played good this year. They're very competitive, but my problem here is I don't know if they're going to be re-signed guys like Nick Castellanos and Jesse Winker if a team like the Red Sox or the Yankees come knocking on the door with all that dough. A team like the Reds can't re-sign a guy like that because they just don't have the money. But I'm gonna go Reds this year as my biggest shot.
Mm, that's a hard one, honestly.
Yeah, a lot
Because
of good
Reds
teams.
is one of my pick, but oh, like I don't even know. Honestly, I'm gonna go Giants on this one.
Hmm.
Um, I would have never thought they were gonna get the they're one seed, right? Yeah. Um, yeah, I would never thought they'd be one seed in the NL and getting 100 wins. Like that lineup's really, really good, and adding Chris Bryant at the trade deadline's really good too. But yeah, I gotta go Giants and Reds.
Yeah,
Biggest surprise.
and the funny thing about this is when we were having the podcast back uh, at CJ's, when we had the backdrop and stuff, like we sat there and talked about this team was a pretender. We don't know if this team can last. They're young. They have the veteran bats, but they don't have the pitching yet. And we all sat there and told each other that this team isn't real. There's no way they can keep this up. And
Yeah.
they've done it all year long. And also with a shocker, I want to bring up is no one thought the Red Sox would be battling for AL wild card this year. We were supposed to be a dump team, maybe number one pick, uh, 40 wins max. And this pitching staff has put together one of the best years in Red Sox memory. You got Chris Sale back, Erod, Nick Pivetta, Nathan Eovaldi. Uh, Trade for Kyle Schwarber because we don't know how we got into the spot where we're leading the division at All-Star break. But that team is also a big shock to me. As we move on to the NBA, I'm going to let you go first on this. What should Philly do with Ben Simmons?
Mm. All right. I think with me, you gotta. I would give him one more year, but I know he don't want to be there now. Like he's done with it. So you're bet. I mean, just trade him. He's still young. Don't waste his career if he's gonna sit out like we're Texans are doing with Deshaun or whatever. But I know. It just hurts. Um, I think he's a really good point guard. I mean, you kind of have. I'd sit down with him and tell him that like you got to give him one more shot. I really do think. I know the shooting the ball was his biggest problem. Like he'd take some games, he'd take like 5 shot attempts or 8 during the regular season. Who knows? He might change. He might. I think like rookie Ben Simmons or like a sophomore year Ben Simmons was way better than he was now. But if he wants to be traded, trade him. But if not, I think we'll be fine.
Yeah, I think they're kind of coming to the reality that they don't have to trade him, and that scares me with Philadelphia in that front office. But I think they should have traded him a long time ago. I think we shouldn't be having this
Yeah,
conversation. I think this should have already been resolved, but they're expecting too much. Especially you're trying to sell high. It's like I talked to someone about this last week as a stock. You're supposed to sell high when it looks the best. They are doing the opposite with Ben Simmons and trying to sell high when he looks his worst. If you didn't believe in Ben Simmons, you should have traded him when he had that crazy sophomore year. But no one's ever going to trade someone after a crazy sophomore year. So you waited out to see if he can shoot the next season. And oh my lord, it's the same thing that happened last year. He can't shoot still.
yeah,
So it's like you made this problem yourself. So now you have to give up Ben Simmons for maybe a pick and then a role player. And that's all you're going to get out of Ben Simmons because no one is going to buy a guy that can only play make and only drive to the rim. So I think the Sixers have to live with what they have and what they can get for Ben Simmons and stop trying to get more out of it. And that's my opinion as a Bulls fan that's watched the Sixers forever. I think that team's good enough to where they can get a regular point guard and win maybe the finals next year. A vet and George Hill or someone like that.
Yeah, I know for a fact those fans ain't gonna let him play
Yeah,
basketball
that's
there.
also
That it
reasonable.
won't happen. It just won't happen. It
I,
hurts. So that's first team need right there. Honestly, going somewhere else.
I completely agree. I think Ben Simmons is going to prosper wherever he goes next. When he does get traded, I think he's instantly an all-star, an all-NBA guy anywhere he's at. Talking about young guys that are stars, what young star finally becomes a superstar this year? I have two names. John Morant is one. I think John Morant takes a step this year and becomes a Grizzlies lifer and gets his big contract. And two, biasy, whatever you want it. Zach LaVine becomes a superstar this year. I think he gets an All NBA team at the two guard position. I think he leads his team to the playoffs, maybe even farther. I think Zach LaVine, John Morant are two guys that are going to take that step next year and be superstars.
Um, I got my guy here. I'm going with De'Aaron Fox. Um, I mean, he just gets overlooked, dude. It's crazy. But I think him and Tyrese over there are going to be a really really good duo. That or he might, who knows, he might go get traded, like I said, to Boston and really be a superstar with him and Tatum. But I think Darren Fox is going to make that big jump this year.
Yeah, I think the Celtics are a big name. They come down to Ben Simmons. They're going for another point guard to help Jason Tatum and Jalen Brown. So it'll be exciting to see before like the break in the middle of the season as basketball is about to start. If they get that point guard they want, uh, conference finals predictions. And my next two topics, you're probably he's a Bulls fan. I think this Bulls team has taken the biggest jump out of any team in basketball. Conference finals prediction East and West. In the East, I have Nets, and then I have two teams. I have the Heat, who I think took a big step in getting Kyle Lowry, and I have the Bulls, who maybe are the deepest team in the East. I don't think people realize how deep the Chicago team is off the bench with the guys like Caruso, Kobe White, Pat Will, Tony Bradley. I mean, guys off the bench that would start other places. I think the Nets are locks, and I don't think the Bucks can rerun that team back to where they were. I think a team like the Heat could beat a Bucks team in 5-6 with an add-on of Kyle Lowry and knowing how that team plays. I'm gonna let you go East before I go West.
Uh, I I just got to go Nets Bucks. I mean, just their roster top to bottom is really really good, and I think I would love to see that series again with the Nets healthy. I think it goes seven again,
Yeah,
and
well,
I think Nets win it though.
well, we don't know if we're gonna get Kyrie Irving for this year,
Yeah,
pending all the vaccine stuff that's going on. The NBA guys not taking it, stuff like that. So we will see how the Nets live with that world as they start the season. In the West, see what shocks me in both of my predictions is I have the two final teams not back in the conference finals. In the West, I have the Lakers as my lock. I think the add-ons of Russell Westbrook and company are enough to take that team to maybe the finals. Uh, but I think that team's going to be really good this year. And my two teams, the Jazz are coming, and people have to watch out. This is a superstar studded team with shooting and defense, led by the maybe the best two guard in basketball behind James Harden and Donovan Mitchell. Uh, Rudy Gobert's in his prime. That's a really good basketball team. And number two is a team that you're going to forget about, but they're going to shock the world this year. Healthy Jamal Murray, healthy PJ Dozier, and MVP Nikola Jokic is going to take this team to the conference finals. They were a game back 2 years ago whenever COVID hit. They didn't have Jamal Murray this year and took who'd they take? Someone to six. I think it was the Suns to 6 or
yeah.
5 games. with just Nikola Jokic scoring the ball. This is one of the deepest teams in basketball. The Nuggets are going to come back and maybe even win the West, in my opinion.
I got Lakers as a lock, and then
I mean, you have to go Suns.
I went Warriors.
Okay.
I
Oh,
went Warriors.
that is. I'll give you that. I give you
I
that.
went Warriors because I think Warriors is a better team than the
Yeah,
Suns when
I
Klay
give you that.
Thompson is in that lineup,
That
and I
is
think they got. I really like Clay's that three and dude that's just gonna take over games in 5 seconds, and next thing you know, he's got 25 on your head in one quarter. But they got I think if Andrew Wiggins with that COVID stuff, I think he takes a big jump this year with his game. I think James Wiseman plays really good. I think there are two rookies that they drafted. I forgot their names already. Moses,
Moses Moody. Moses
yeah,
Moody.
and the other dude,
Kendrick Perkins would say.
and the other dude from the G League. Those are two really good basketball players.
I have to pause this for a second because we just named 6 teams that could win the West this year. Like,
Yeah,
really, really could win the West. The Lakers, the Jazz, the Nuggets, the Suns, the Warriors. Are we missing anyone in the West? I'm trying to think. I don't think we are.
Clippers.
The Clippers are a really good basketball team who made
I'd
the
put
Western Conference
yeah.
Finals last
I
year.
I would put the Clippers in there. They didn't even have Kawhi.
That's 6. I mean, this West is just a toss up. I think that the East is going to be just as fun to watch, but I mean, it's back to this West side is kind of
Oh
stacked
yeah,
up. But basketball is going to be fun to watch. Biggest offseason add on. I said a while ago, this is going to be the NBA this week is my Chicago Bulls reign of how good we're going to be. DeMar DeRozan is the best offseason add-on I've seen by far. He's a 25 per night guy. He's that vet leader that Zach LaVine needs to take that next step. And he's probably going to be the vocal leader of this basketball team, this young basketball team. I'm going to go DeMar DeRozan, Chicago.
my second one was actually Lonzo, just Chicago. I think that helps Zach LaVine a little bit on the defensive side and offensive side of the ball,
Yeah.
really. But I mean, I got to go Russ to the Lakers. I mean, that's just. I mean, I can't even explain it. It's that's not even fair.
I want to say I don't know who I explained this to the other day. Maybe it was just like a comment section rant or something that I go off on. But I was talking about Russell Westbrook is going to open this Lakers team up
Yeah,
to the offense they've always wanted. LeBron's not going to have to be the primary ball handler every possession. He can be if he wants to, but he's not going to have to be. Russ Westbrook can drive and shoot when he wants to. Yes, Westbrook, whatever you want. He makes threes. We all know that. We've seen it happen. He can pull up, give you that double dribble pull up, hezzy right in the middle of the lane. He's a playmaker. He can throw lobs. Anthony Davis is going to be a wild card in this scenario because he can do whatever he wants on this offense. And guys like Marcus stand in the middle and get rebounds. Dwight Howard's really good last year. I think this is another championship team for LeBron. And if he messes it up, this is the last chance he gets for me is maybe being the GOAT. If he can win it with this team,
if if he can't, oh my
I mean,
God,
if he can't, then yeah, it's over. But
throw
Carmelo
up.
Anthony is a lock shooter. He doesn't miss when it's mattered. I think this team is a championship winning team. Of course, they're gonna have to go through KD, James Harden, Kyrie, but I think this team comes out of the West easily. But before we go, any fantasy sleepers for today?
Ooh, um, geez, that's hard actually. I'd go Singletary or Zach Moss for the Buffalo running back duo there. Play Houston. We've ran the ball really good this year, and they're getting they're getting like I think they're averaging 17 a game now or something. I mean, they're getting touchdowns, receptions out of the backfield, anything you can think of out of a running back this year. They're doing pretty good.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Maybe
go.
throw one in your flex.
I'm gonna go first one bias, second one not. Chuba Hubbard is getting the start today at running back. He's going to get all the touches. Of course, Royce Freeman might get it close to the end zone, but Chuba is going to be the main feature back today against the Cowboys. He can get a lot of catches out of the back. He'll get maybe even win you a fantasy game this week. And 2, I'm going to go Baker against the Vikings. I think that Vikings defense is really bad. I think Baker puts up 30 plus today fantasy wise. I think that's a big day for the Browns. And even if you have Odell off the bench, I think Odell Beckham has a big game today against the Vikings. I think today's about to be fun. We have 30 minutes before football comes on. Any last words, CJ?
Nope.
Bills about to come on. Panthers about to come on. Your favorite team about to come on. We'll see you next Sunday. Deuce.
Why